Welcome to Healthcare Operations Management. My name is Professor Malorani. I'll be your instructor for the semester. So, first of all, let me give you my contact information, which is posted here on Blackboard. Here's my email address, and here's my office phone. My main role in the course is to be here to help you learn as much as you can, apply as many skills as you can, and learn as much as you can about healthcare operations management. So to that end, you should feel free to call me, email me throughout the semester. I post my regular office hours, which we can meet virtually. You can come by my office. We can talk on the phone. But I want to emphasize that I'm happy to meet at most other times during the week, including evenings. So don't hesitate to call me or request a meeting outside my office hours. And if you email me, I will try to get back to the same day. I won't guarantee it, but generally I'm pretty good about responding to emails. Okay, so I'm assuming that most of you are familiar with Blackboard and have taken other online courses, but in the off chance that this is a first, let me just tell you about the learning tool that we use at MCPHS, which is Blackboard. And the way I structure the course, I try to make it relatively intuitive. We have a course introduction section here, which, as I mentioned, has my contact information, has the syllabus. I'm going to post some case studies right now until I get the problem with the bookstore straightened out, so you won't fall behind in terms of case studies. And then some articles I'll post here, and that'll all be in the course introduction. And then in the week one, so every week I'll post some information. Week one is kind of an overview about the U.S. healthcare cost and quality issues and opportunities, a little bit about what healthcare operations managers can do, and the like. So there's a folder here that will have, in week one, a fairly extensive list of videos and files. It won't be this extensive every week, but kicking off the course, there's a lot of things I want to talk about. But as we go through each week, it'll be more about what you have to say and less about what I have to say. So, but I would recommend that you go through these videos and files that I've put out here, at least to get a good understanding and a grounding. And also, if I find videos that I think could add something to the learning process, I put them in the weekly folder. So there are a bunch of videos here. These are optional. If it's an area that you're interested in learning more about, then you'll find some videos there. But so that those things will be here every week. Then I'll talk about what's coming up the following week. And then under the course tools, you'll find something called the discussion board. Every week I'll post probably one question. Some weeks I may post more than one. This week there are two questions, which one is just to introduce yourself and talk about your learning goals. So you can tell us a little bit about who you are, what your professional experiences are, what degree you're pursuing, and what your goals are for this course. That would be helpful. So we're just trying to get to know each other a little bit more. And then I have a discussion question for week one, which I'd like everyone to finish both parts by the 18th, which is next Sunday. And basically, the question in week one talks about U.S. healthcare costs and quality, issues and opportunities. And the protocol that I'm asking is that you post your viewpoint on the question posted and then respond to one or more of your colleagues' postings. So that we'll do this every week, and so it'll be the same approach, same format. All right, so let me switch now to talk about some of the things in week one. So first, I'd like you to take a brief survey. So I've mailed this out, and you can also click on it in the PowerPoint slides, and it's just a quick survey about your viewpoints of the U.S. healthcare cost and quality situation. No right or wrong answers. Feel free to answer them in any way you deem fit. I'm just trying to get a sense for where people are in this issue and what they know about some of the key quality tools that we'll be talking about during the semester. So, I think there's a perception that that the U.S. healthcare system works well. And when I say a perception, I think among the general population, that it's safe, it's effective, well-trained and conscientious caregivers, and that we sometimes produce miracles. And I think all those things are true at some level. But, as educated professionals in the healthcare profession, we have to dig a little bit deeper, right? And we have to get some evidence to support perceptions. And so the evidence, unfortunately, is a little bit different than the public perception, because if you look at polling from Pew and Gallup and other places, you'll see that the healthcare profession is held at a very high level in the minds of most Americans. But the reality is that we have issues here. We have quality issues and we have cost issues, and both of them need to be addressed with a lot of vigor and addressed with a sense of urgency. Or else, we run the risk of actually bankrupting the country if we don't do it. So there have been many studies out there, and I'm not going to go through all these slides, but that says that the U.S. healthcare system doesn't get it right a lot of the time, right? Or they get it right only a little over half the time. And we could look at why that's happening, right? And there's a plethora of solid reasons why there are so many challenges with the U.S. healthcare quality, and not the least of which is the rapidly exploding medical knowledge and information explosion that we're experiencing in every profession, right? So the fact is, though, that that we've kind of come to grips with this issue around 15 years ago. So one of the videos I asked you to watch is "To Err Is Human," and this talks about the evidence-based data that says that through medical errors, the U.S. healthcare system may be causing up to 100,000 deaths a year, and some estimates have it higher. Some have it lower, but at the end of the day, when you think about an industry creating this amount of deaths by error, it's pretty staggering, right? So if we saw other industries operating at this level, we would quickly shut them down, right? So the fact is that we have a problem, okay? And so we'll talk about that problem. We'll also talk about how do we measure success, safety, timely, efficient, etc. And one of the big things is the voice of the customer, right? We need to become more centered around the needs of the patient, the customer, whatever you want to call the people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. We also have to recognize that the U.S. is not the best in any one of these categories, and by a multitude of measures from different organizations, the World Health Organization, the Commonwealth Fund, the OECD, et cetera, et cetera. And so if we recognize that we're not the best, what does that lead us to do? It leads us to start to think about, well, who does things better than us? And let's start to learn from them. And I think that's a key thing that we have to come to grips with, right? That if we're not the best at something and somebody else is, then we should study them and figure out, well, how are they able to do things, right, at a lower cost and a higher quality? And that's where we are today, right? So it's not just a quality issue; it's a cost issue that has risen out of control in the U.S. And when you look at where we are compared to other industrialized countries, we're spending almost 18% of our GDP, gross domestic product, on healthcare, and the average developed country spends about 9%. And you can look at all the other industrialized countries, and we are an outlier, right? So we have this exploding costs. We have evidence-based data that says our quality is below many countries. And those two things create a problem that we need to recognize as step one. Yes, hello.
Hi, Francis. This is Ellie calling from Chevron Point Right. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, thank you. I'm just calling to confirm your appointment with us for Monday. It's for 12:15.
Correct.
Thank you, honey.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. What's all that? Oh, okay. So, in addition to examining why our quality is so high, we're going to have to also examine why our cost is so high, right? If we're going to get things better, right? So, as I mentioned, step one, recognize that we have both a quality and a cost problem. Then we can start to look for solutions to those problems, and I think that's where we are, right? And so, what I'm hoping is that as we go through the course, we'll start to share some ideas, some solutions to the problem, and that will become part of the solution as professionals. All right, so I'm going to allow you to go through the rest of the slides on your own. But again, please feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I look forward to hearing from each of you. Thank you. All right.